The life and legacy of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, known as the father of the nation in India, is one of history's most revered figures. His philosophy of nonviolence and his dedication to truth and justice have left an indelible mark on the world. But beyond the image of a man clad in simple cloth, leading peaceful protests, who was Gandhi? What were the key moments that defined his extraordinary life? This biography takes us on a journey through Gandhi's life, from his humble beginnings in Porbandar, India, to his emergence as a global icon of peace and equality. Gandhi was more than a political leader. He was a spiritual guide, a reformer, and a deeply human individual with his own struggles and doubts. His life was a testament to the power of determination and the courage to stand up for one's beliefs. Gandhi's story begins in colonial India, where his early years shaped his values and vision. As a young man, he studied law in London and began his career in South Africa, where he witnessed firsthand the injustices of racial discrimination. These experiences became the foundation of his commitment to social justice and nonviolent resistance. As a leader of India's independence movement, Gandhi inspired millions with his principles of satyagraha, truth, force, and ahimsa, nonviolence. His campaigns, from the Salt March to the Quit India movement, were milestones in the struggle against British colonial rule. Yet, Gandhi's life was not without challenges. He faced imprisonment, opposition, and personal sacrifices, all of which tested his resolve. This narrative is not just a recounting of events but an exploration of Gandhi's philosophy and its relevance today. His emphasis on simplicity, self-reliance, and compassion offers timeless lessons for individuals and societies alike. At the same time, his human flaws and contradictions remind us that greatness is a journey, not a destination. As you listen to this account, let Gandhi's life inspire you to reflect on your own values and aspirations. From his childhood to his role as a leader, from his triumphs to his trials, Gandhi's story is a beacon of hope and a call to action. Welcome to the life of Mahatma Gandhi, a tale of courage, conviction, and the enduring power of nonviolence. Childhood and background. The foundations of a Mahatma. Mahatma Gandhi, born Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, entered the world on October 2, 1869, in the small coastal town of Porbandar, located in present-day Gujarat, India. His birthplace was a modest home in a region known for its rich cultural heritage and spiritual traditions. Gandhi's early years were shaped by the influences of his family, his community, and the social environment of 19th-century colonial India. Gandhi's family belonged to the Baniya caste, a merchant class traditionally engaged in trade and business. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, served as the Diwan, or chief minister, of Porbandar, and later of other princely states. Karamchand was known for his integrity, wisdom, and dedication to public service. Despite his important position, he led a simple life, a trait that left a lasting impression on young Mohandas. Gandhi's mother, Putlabai, was deeply religious and devoted to her family. She practiced Jainism, a faith characterized by nonviolence, vegetarianism, fasting, and a strong emphasis on self-discipline. Her piety and adherence to ethical principles profoundly influenced Gandhi's character. From her, he learned the values of compassion, humility, and the importance of leading a principled life. As a child, Mohandas was quiet, introspective, and somewhat shy. He was not particularly remarkable in academics or physical pursuits, but he displayed a keen sense of observation and a strong moral compass even at a young age. Stories from Indian epics like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, often narrated by his mother or other elders, filled his imagination with ideals of truth, justice, and duty. One formative incident from Gandhi's childhood involved his honesty. At the age of 15, he stole a piece of gold from his brother to pay off a debt. Overwhelmed with guilt, he confessed his wrongdoing to his father in a heartfelt letter. Instead of punishing him, Karamchand Gandhi shed tears, deeply moved by his son's sincerity. This moment left a profound impact on Mohandas, reinforcing his belief in the power of truth and the value of confession. Gandhi's formal education began in Porbandar, but his family soon moved to Rajkot, where he continued his studies. In school, he was an average student, known more for his good behavior than for his academic achievements. However, he had a natural curiosity about the world and an eagerness to learn from the people and experiences around him. The social environment of British-ruled India also played a significant role in shaping Gandhi's early worldview. The stark inequalities between the ruling British elite and the Indian populace were evident in daily life. Although his family enjoyed a certain level of privilege, Gandhi was acutely aware of the struggles faced by ordinary Indians. This awareness sowed the seeds of his later commitment to social justice and equality. Marriage came early for Gandhi, as was customary in his time. At the age of 13, he was married to Kasturba, a girl of the same age, in an arranged union. The relationship, though initially marked by youthful immaturity, grew into a lifelong partnership rooted in mutual respect and shared ideals. Kasturba, affectionately called B.A., became Gandhi's confidant and a steadfast supporter of his endeavors, despite the challenges they faced together. As a teenager, Gandhi began to grapple with questions about identity, faith, and morality. Influenced by his mother's Jain practices and the pluralistic environment of India, he developed an early appreciation for religious tolerance. This open-mindedness would later become a cornerstone of his philosophy, as he sought to bridge divides between people of different faiths. At the age of 18, Gandhi left India to study law in London. The decision to pursue higher education abroad was both an opportunity and a challenge. On the one hand, it allowed him to broaden his horizons and gain exposure to Western ideas and institutions. On the other hand, it required him to navigate an unfamiliar culture while holding on to his roots. Before his departure, he made a solemn vow to his mother to abstain from meat, alcohol, and other indulgences, a promise that guided his conduct during his time in England. London proved to be a transformative experience for Gandhi. Initially overwhelmed by the fast-paced city and its unfamiliar customs, he gradually adapted and found solace in books and philosophical discussions. He read widely, delving into works on law, religion, and ethics. The writings of Henry David Thoreau, Leo Tolstoy, and John Ruskin had a particularly profound impact on his thinking, inspiring his later advocacy for nonviolent resistance and simple living. Gandhi's time in England also marked the beginning of his experiments with personal discipline. He adopted a frugal lifestyle, cooked his own meals to adhere to his vegetarian diet, and began to explore the spiritual dimensions of life. These habits, rooted in self-restraint and mindfulness, became defining features of his character. In 1891, Gandhi returned to India as a qualified barrister, ready to embark on a legal career. However, his initial attempts to establish himself in the profession were fraught with difficulties. His shyness and lack of courtroom experience made it hard for him to succeed as a lawyer in Bombay. Discouraged but not defeated, Gandhi accepted an opportunity to work in South Africa, a decision that would change the course of his life. Looking back, Gandhi's childhood and early adulthood were a time of learning and self-discovery. The values instilled by his family, the challenges he faced, and the experiences he gained laid the foundation for his later work as a leader and reformer. These formative years shaped the principles of truth, nonviolence, and justice that guided him throughout his life. As we move forward in this narrative, we see how these early influences prepared Gandhi to confront the injustices of the world with courage and conviction. His journey from a shy, introspective boy in Porbandar to a determined young man with a vision for change is a testament to the power of upbringing and personal growth. The rise of a leader, Gandhi in South Africa. Mahatma Gandhi's transformative years in South Africa represent the emergence of his identity as a leader and a strategist for social justice. Arriving in 1893, Gandhi initially intended to work as a legal advisor for a merchant firm, but the environment of racial discrimination and injustice he encountered changed the course of his life. This chapter examines how Gandhi developed his philosophy of nonviolent resistance and organized the Indian community in South Africa to challenge systemic oppression. Gandhi's first encounter with institutionalized racism was both humiliating and transformative. During a train journey to Pretoria, he was forcibly removed from a first-class compartment despite holding a valid ticket. This incident at Pietermaritzburg railway station became a pivotal moment in his life. Reflecting on the experience, Gandhi resolved to fight injustice with dignity and determination rather than anger or violence. This decision marked the birth of satyagraha, or truth force, a philosophy that would guide his actions for the rest of his life. The early struggles of the Indian community. The Indian population in South Africa faced severe discrimination, including restrictions on movement, economic activity, and legal rights. Laws such as the £3 poll tax and the invalidation of non-Christian marriages relegated Indians to second-class status. Gandhi quickly recognized the need for unity among Indians, who were divided by religion, language, and socio-economic background. One of Gandhi's first campaigns was against a proposed bill in Natal that sought to deny Indians the right to vote. Through petitions, public meetings, and collaboration with sympathetic allies, Gandhi organized the Indian community to oppose the legislation. Although the bill ultimately passed, the campaign marked the beginning of Gandhi's career as a community organizer and advocate for civil rights. The development of satyagraha. Gandhi's philosophy of satyagraha evolved through his experiences in South Africa. He believed that the pursuit of truth and justice required courage, discipline, and a commitment to nonviolence. Satyagraha was not merely passive resistance, it was an active and principled form of protest designed to appeal to the conscience of the oppressor. One of the first major applications of satyagraha occurred during the 1906 Transvaal campaign. The Transvaal government introduced a new law requiring all Indians to register and carry identification passes. Failure to comply would result in severe penalties, including imprisonment and deportation. Gandhi called for a mass refusal to comply with the law, urging his followers to embrace suffering rather than submit to injustice. The campaign attracted widespread participation, with thousands of Indians burning their registration passes in defiance of the law. Gandhi himself was arrested multiple times, but his unwavering commitment to nonviolence inspired others to continue the struggle. The movement drew international attention, putting pressure on the South African government to negotiate. Eventually, a compromise was reached, and some of the discriminatory provisions were repealed. Personal transformation. During his time in South Africa, Gandhi underwent a profound personal transformation. He adopted a simple lifestyle, renouncing material possessions and dedicating himself to the service of others. Inspired by religious texts such as the Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, and the Quran, he developed a deep spiritual foundation that informed his approach to leadership. Gandhi also experimented with communal living, establishing the Phoenix settlement in 1904 and later the Tolstoy farm in 1910. These settlements were based on principles of equality, self-sufficiency, and cooperative living. They served as training grounds for satyagrahis, individuals committed to the principles of nonviolence and social justice. Legacy in South Africa. By the time Gandhi left South Africa in 1915, he had achieved several significant victories for the Indian community. His campaigns led to the recognition of Indian marriages, the abolition of the poll tax, and improved legal rights for Indians. More importantly, Gandhi's leadership demonstrated the power of nonviolent resistance as a tool for social change. The lessons Gandhi learned in South Africa would become the foundation for his work in India's independence movement. The principles of satyagraha, the emphasis on self-reliance, and the commitment to unity and inclusivity would guide him as he took on the challenges of colonial rule in his homeland. Gandhi's rise in South Africa was a testament to his ability to transform adversity into opportunity. His experiences there not only shaped his identity as a leader but also laid the groundwork for a global movement that continues to inspire struggles for justice and equality around the world. Gandhi's leadership in India's struggle for independence. When Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi returned to India in 1915 after spending over 2 decades in South Africa, he brought with him a philosophy and strategy that would change the course of the nation's history. Armed with the principles of satyagraha, truth force, and ahimsa, nonviolence, Gandhi began his journey to lead India's struggle for independence from British colonial rule. This chapter explores how Gandhi emerged as the central figure in India's freedom movement and the significant milestones of his leadership, early initiatives and learning the land. Upon his return, Gandhi was welcomed as a hero, but he did not immediately assume a leadership role. Instead, he spent the first year traveling across India, observing the conditions of the people and understanding the challenges they faced under British rule. This period of observation reinforced his belief in self-reliance and the need to empower rural communities. Gandhi's first major campaign in India took place in 1917 in Champaran, Bihar. Farmers in the region were forced by British planters to grow indigo, a cash crop, instead of food, leaving them impoverished and hungry. Gandhi organized protests and negotiations, employing his principles of nonviolent resistance. The success of the Champaran movement not only alleviated the farmers' suffering but also established Gandhi as a leader who could unite people for a common cause. The non-cooperation movement. In 1920, Gandhi launched the non-cooperation movement, a nationwide campaign aimed at boycotting British institutions and goods. He urged Indians to resign from government jobs, withdraw from British schools, and refuse to buy British-made products. Instead, he encouraged the use of khadi, homespun cloth, as a symbol of self-reliance and resistance. The movement garnered massive support, drawing millions of Indians from diverse backgrounds into the struggle for independence. However, it also faced challenges. In 1922, violence erupted in Trishri, where protesters set a police station on fire, killing several officers. Deeply disturbed by this breach of nonviolence, Gandhi called off the movement, emphasizing that independence could not be achieved at the cost of moral principles. His decision, though controversial, underscored his commitment to ahimsa. The Salt March and civil disobedience. One of the most iconic moments of Gandhi's leadership was the Salt March of 1930. The British monopoly on salt production and the imposition of a salt tax disproportionately affected the poor. To challenge this unjust law, Gandhi led a 240-mile march from Sabarmati Ashram to the coastal village of Dandi. Thousands joined him, and the act of making salt from seawater became a powerful symbol of resistance. The Salt March marked the beginning of the civil disobedience movement, which involved nonviolent defiance of British laws, boycotts of British goods, and refusal to pay taxes. The movement galvanized Indians across the country, from peasants to urban elites, and drew significant international attention to India's independence struggle. The Quit India movement. During World War II, Gandhi intensified the demand for complete independence. In 1942, he launched the Quit India movement, urging the British to leave India immediately. His slogan, "Do or die," inspired millions to join the cause. The British response was swift and brutal. Gandhi and many other leaders were arrested, and protests were violently suppressed. Despite the crackdown, the movement demonstrated the Indian people's unwavering resolve for freedom. Gandhi's vision of unity. Throughout his leadership, Gandhi emphasized the importance of unity among India's diverse communities. He worked tirelessly to bridge the gap between Hindus and Muslims, advocating for communal harmony and inclusion. However, this was one of the most challenging aspects of his leadership, as tensions between religious groups often threatened the movement's cohesion. Gandhi's efforts extended to uplifting marginalized groups, whom he called Harijans, children of God. He campaigned against untouchability, fought for women's rights, and championed economic self-sufficiency through village industries. His vision of independence was not just political freedom but also social and economic equality. Legacy of leadership. Gandhi's leadership in India's struggle for independence left an indelible mark on the nation and the world. His ability to mobilize millions through nonviolent means set a precedent for future movements for civil rights and social justice. The principles he upheld, truth, nonviolence, and self-reliance, continue to inspire generations. In 1947, India achieved independence, a moment that validated decades of struggle and sacrifice. However, Gandhi's vision of a united and harmonious India remained unfulfilled, as partition led to the creation of Pakistan and widespread communal violence. Despite these challenges, Gandhi's role as the moral compass of the independence movement remains unparalleled. Gandhi's leadership during India's struggle for independence exemplifies the power of nonviolence and the enduring impact of principled action. His journey from Champaran to quit India demonstrates the transformative potential of a leader who stands firm in their values, even in the face of immense adversity. The challenges of partition in Gandhi's final years. As India approached independence in 1947, the country stood on the brink of immense change and immense conflict. The euphoria of freedom from British colonial rule was tempered by the harsh reality of partition, a division that created the separate nations of India and Pakistan. Mahatma Gandhi, the central figure of India's independence movement, spent his final years grappling with the devastating consequences of partition and striving to heal the wounds of communal strife. The partition of India. The demand for a separate Muslim state, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the All India Muslim League, gained momentum in the years leading up to independence. Despite Gandhi's unwavering commitment to Hindu-Muslim unity, the growing tensions between the two communities proved insurmountable. The British government's decision to partition India was met with mixed reactions, but for Gandhi, it was a deeply personal and painful failure. Partition led to one of the largest migrations in human history, as millions of Hindus, Muslims, and Sikhs crossed the newly drawn borders to join their respective nations. This mass displacement was accompanied by widespread violence, with communal riots claiming hundreds of thousands of lives. Entire villages were destroyed, families were torn apart, and the trauma of partition left scars that would endure for generations. Gandhi's efforts to prevent violence. In the midst of this chaos, Gandhi embarked on a mission of peace. Refusing to celebrate independence, he chose instead to travel to the most affected regions, including Bengal, Bihar, and Punjab, where he worked tirelessly to quell violence and promote reconciliation. His presence alone often had a calming effect on hostile crowds, as his moral authority and unwavering commitment to nonviolence inspired even the most hardened individuals. In Calcutta, where communal tensions were particularly high, Gandhi initiated a fast unto death to demand an end to the violence. His fast, combined with his direct appeals to both Hindu and Muslim leaders, succeeded in bringing a temporary peace to the city. This approach of self-sacrifice and moral persuasion became one of Gandhi's most powerful tools in his final years. Gandhi's vision of a unified India. Despite the reality of partition, Gandhi continued to advocate for a unified and inclusive India. He believed that independence would be meaningless without communal harmony and social justice. His vision extended beyond political freedom. He sought a society based on equality, self-reliance, and mutual respect. Gandhi's efforts were not limited to addressing communal violence. He also worked to uplift marginalized communities, particularly the Dalits, whom he called Harijans, children of God. He campaigned against untouchability, encouraged interfaith dialogue, and promoted economic self-sufficiency through village industries. For Gandhi, the true measure of independence was the well-being of the poorest and most vulnerable members of society. The tragedy of Gandhi's assassination. Gandhi's unwavering commitment to nonviolence and communal harmony made him a target of criticism from extremist groups on both sides of the political spectrum. While many revered him as a saintly figure, others viewed his efforts as a betrayal of their religious or political interests. This growing discontent culminated in tragedy on January 30, 1948, when Gandhi was assassinated by Nathuram Godse, a Hindu nationalist who opposed his policies. Gandhi's death sent shockwaves through India and the world. His assassination was not only a profound loss for the nation but also a stark reminder of the challenges that lay ahead in building a unified and peaceful India. Millions mourned his passing, and his legacy as the father of the nation was cemented in the hearts of people around the globe. Gandhi's enduring legacy. Even in death, Gandhi's influence continued to shape the course of history. His philosophy of nonviolence inspired civil rights leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and others who fought for justice and equality in their own countries. His emphasis on self-reliance, simplicity, and moral courage remains a guiding light for individuals and movements around the world. In India, Gandhi's legacy is celebrated annually on October 2, his birthday, which is observed as the International Day of Nonviolence. Statues, memorials, and institutions dedicated to his life and work serve as reminders of his enduring impact on humanity. Reflecting on Gandhi's final years. Gandhi's final years were a testament to his unwavering belief in the power of love and nonviolence. Faced with the immense challenges of partition, communal violence, and his own personal tragedies, he remained steadfast in his commitment to truth and justice. His journey from a young lawyer in South Africa to the leader of a global movement for peace and freedom is a story of resilience, vision, and humanity. As we reflect on Gandhi's life and legacy, we are reminded of the values he held dear: compassion, humility, and the courage to stand for what is right. In a world still grappling with divisions and conflicts, his message of nonviolence and unity is as relevant today as it was during his lifetime. Gandhi's final years, though marked by great challenges, serve as a powerful reminder that true leadership is not about power or position but about the ability to inspire and uplift others in the pursuit of a just and equitable world. Gandhi's legacy, a timeless inspiration. The life of Mahatma Gandhi is a testament to the extraordinary impact that one individual, guided by principles of truth, nonviolence, and justice, can have on the world. From his early years in Porbandar to his leadership in South Africa and India, Gandhi's journey was marked by an unwavering commitment to his ideals, even in the face of immense challenges and personal sacrifices. Gandhi's leadership in India's independence movement set a precedent for nonviolent resistance as a powerful tool for social and political change. Through campaigns like the Salt March, the Non-Cooperation Movement, and the Quit India movement, he mobilized millions of people across the country to stand against oppression without resorting to violence. His philosophy of satyagraha, or truth force, continues to inspire movements for justice and equality worldwide. Beyond his role as a political leader, Gandhi's vision extended to building a society rooted in compassion, inclusivity, and self-reliance. He championed the rights of marginalized communities, fought against untouchability, and emphasized the importance of rural development and economic independence. For Gandhi, true freedom was not just the absence of colonial rule but the presence of dignity and opportunity for every individual. The challenges Gandhi faced in his final years, particularly during the partition of India, revealed his resilience and humanity. In the midst of communal violence and political upheaval, he remained a beacon of hope, working tirelessly to heal divisions and promote unity. His tragic assassination in 1948 was a profound loss for the world, yet his message of peace and nonviolence continues to resonate. Gandhi's influence extends far beyond India's borders. Figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela drew inspiration from his philosophy to lead transformative movements in their own countries. His emphasis on moral courage, simplicity, and the power of collective action offers timeless lessons for individuals and societies alike. As we reflect on Gandhi's legacy, we are reminded that his teachings are not confined to history but remain deeply relevant in addressing contemporary challenges. In a world still grappling with inequality, conflict, and environmental degradation, Gandhi's call for nonviolence, ethical leadership, and sustainable living serves as a guiding light. The story of Mahatma Gandhi is not just a narrative of one man's life, it is a call to action. It challenges each of us to examine our values, to stand up for justice, and to contribute to building a world where dignity and equality prevail. Gandhi's legacy endures not because of the positions he held but because of the values he lived by, values that continue to inspire hope and transformation in generations to come.